On August 18, 1211, Narapatisithu, the revered king of Burma, passed away. His reign marked a significant period in Burmese history as he worked to unify the region, promote Buddhism, and strengthen the kingdom's cultural identity. Narapatisithu ascended the throne in 1174, inheriting a fractured kingdom. He immediately began reforming the administrative structure, which laid the foundation for future stability and growth in Burma. Throughout his reign, Narapatisithu focused on the promotion of Theravada Buddhism, commissioning numerous temples and monasteries to spread the religion across his realm, which united people under shared spiritual beliefs. Narapatisithu also prioritized trade, establishing strong connections with neighboring states. This effort not only increased wealth, but also led to cultural exchanges that enriched Burmese society. In his later years, Narapatisithu faced challenges, including rebellions and invasions, yet his diplomatic skills often turned potential conflicts into alliances, emphasizing his leadership abilities. Despite his successes, health issues plagued Narapatisithu in his final years. In the summer of 1211, he fell gravely ill, a turn that alarmed his court and citizens alike. On the morning of August 18, 1211, Narapatisithu succumbed to his illness, leaving behind a legacy marked by cultural richness and political stability. The announcement of Narapatisithu's death reverberated throughout the kingdom. Citizens mourned the loss of their beloved king, whose vision had greatly shaped Burma. Following his death, Narapatisithu was honored with a grand funeral, befitting his status and contributions. Temples across the kingdom were filled with prayers and offerings. After Narapatisithu's passing, royal advisors and leaders convened to determine the future of the kingdom. His policies and reforms served as a guiding light for his successors. Narapatisithu's influence extended beyond his reign. His commitment to Buddhism helped to standardize practices, which led to the unification of religious belief across Burma, fostering a common identity. A legacy of Narapatisithu is reflected in the continued veneration of Theravada Buddhism in modern Burma. His efforts laid the groundwork for a unique cultural identity that endures to this day. Narapatisithu introduced the Law Code of Narapatisithu, which aimed to regulate both civil and criminal matters, influencing subsequent legal practices and governance in Burma. The construction of pagodas under Narapatisithu symbolized both devotion and architectural advancement, serving as cultural landmarks that attract visitors and pilgrims even today. Narapatisithu's diplomatic relations fostered by marriage alliances made the Burmese kingdom a pivotal player in regional politics, securing peace for decades after his reign. Many historians consider Narapatisithu a pivotal figure in establishing the lineage of subsequent Burmese kings, shaping a distinct narrative for the future of the country. The narrative of Narapatisithu's life and reign is taught in schools, embodying leadership, wisdom, and the balance of power, inspiring future generations to pursue greatness in governance. In the years following his death, Narapatisithu was depicted in literature and art as an ideal ruler, embodying virtue and wisdom, becoming a symbol of leadership in Burmese culture. Many of the temples and structures commissioned during Narapatisithu's reign remain pilgrimage sites, illustrating the lasting cultural impact of his devotion to Buddhism and the arts. Observing the traditions established during his reign, today's rulers in Burma reference Narapatisithu as a model, continuing his legacy of unification and harmony within the kingdom. Debates and discussions about Narapatisithu's policies continue in scholarly circles, each representing various interpretations of his reign and its implications for future governance. The commemoration of Narapatisithu's life is marked annually, bringing together the citizens of Burma in remembrance of his contributions to the nation and culture. King Narapatisithu's reign began in 1174, marked by a vision to unify the diverse regions of Burma under a single cultural identity. With a staunch belief in Theravada Buddhism, he sought not only to rule but to elevate the spiritual fabric of society. He established trade routes with neighboring kingdoms, facilitating the exchange of goods and culture, which significantly enriched the kingdom's economy and its people's lives, creating prosperity in both rural and urban areas. Narapatisithu was a patron of the arts, commissioning exquisite temple architectures that showcased intricate carvings and designs. His legacy in architecture is represented by the beautifully constructed pagodas that still stand today, admired by many. In his later years, Narapatisithu faced formidable challenges, including invasions that threatened his kingdom. His adept diplomatic strategies turned potential foes into allies, ensuring the stability of his rule amidst chaos. Despite his achievements, by the summer of 1211, Narapatisithu's health was deteriorating. His advisors grew increasingly concerned as the king's usual vigor faded, signaling an impending transition for the kingdom. As his death approached, the weight of his achievements and the love of his people filled the air with emotion. Mourning rituals began as news of his illness spread throughout the kingdom, uniting commoners and nobles alike. On August 18, 1211, King Narapatisithu passed away. As the sun set, casting a golden glow over the land, the kingdom fell silent, marking the end of an era filled with promise and progress. Following his death, a grand funeral was organized that spanned several days, featuring elaborate ceremonies and processions, celebrating Narapatisithu's life and contributions. The entire kingdom was engulfed in mourning. As the people gathered to pay their respects, stories of Narapatisithu's wisdom and strength were shared, reinforcing the values of leadership and compassion that defined his rule. His legacy resonated deeply with all. Narapatisithu's law code became a foundational building block for future governance, setting the standards for fair leadership and justice that inspired subsequent kings to prioritize their people's welfare. His architectural contributions extended beyond temples, influencing the design of streets and cities, enabling a structured urban environment that catered to spirituality and commerce alike, blending the sacred with the everyday. Narapatisithu's emphasis on Theravada Buddhism helped to unify a diverse population under a common religious identity, echoing through generations as communities celebrated rituals that honored their shared heritage. His diplomatic skills not only aided in local alliances, but extended Burma's influence over trade routes in the region, bringing economic stability and facilitating cultural exchanges that enriched the entire Southeast Asian landscape. In the wake of his passing, the foundation he laid became evident as leaders looked back on his abilities to navigate diplomacy, inspiring them to embrace peaceful negotiations over warfare. Commemorations began shortly after his death, ensuring that Narapatisithu's contributions were never forgotten, with annual festivals celebrating his vision for a united Burma through shared cultural practices and values. Future leaders began to implement Narapatisithu's policies in governance. His holistic approach inspired generations to construct inclusive societies based on empathy, education, and a strong moral compass. The legacy of Narapatisithu extended into cultural realms, influencing literature and artistic expressions that celebrated his achievements, hence embedding his story into the heart of Burmese identity. Narapatisithu was increasingly revered as a symbol of unity and strength by new generations, whose education incorporated his leadership lessons, fostering a respect for collaboration and peaceful solutions to conflict. As narratives surrounding Narapatisithu grew, legends emerged that romanticized his life, blending history with folklore, and ensuring that even in the absence of formal education, his story reached every corner of the kingdom. Ultimately, Narapatisithu left behind a legacy that was not just political, but deeply cultural, where the ideals of compassion, duty, and community remained guidelines for future leaders in Burma and beyond. On August 18, 1211, Narapatisithu, revered king of Burma, passed away at the age of 61. His reign, beginning in 1174, marked a pivotal era in Burmese history, known for significant religious and cultural unification. During Narapatisithu's rule, he implemented important administrative reforms, which stabilized the kingdom and encouraged trade. His vision led to the flourishing of various economic activities across regions, unifying diverse cultures under a single nation. Narapatisithu was a devoted promoter of Theravada Buddhism. He commissioned the construction of numerous temples, transforming the spiritual landscape of Burma. This dedication fostered a sense of shared identity and purpose among his subjects. The construction of pagodas under Narapatisithu's patronage led to architectural advancements that define Burmese culture. These structures became symbols of heritage and faith, echoing his legacy long after his death. In facing external threats, Narapatisithu's diplomatic acumen came to the forefront, allowing him to form alliances that ensured stability across the kingdom. His strategic relationships often diverted potential conflicts. In the summer of 1211, King Narapatisithu's health began to fail, leading to great concern among his advisors and citizens. His decline was met with a deep sense of foreboding throughout the kingdom. The death of Narapatisithu on August 18, 1211, set shockwaves through the kingdom, with widespread mourning from nobles to common citizens. His charismatic leadership had left an indelible mark on Burma. A grand funeral was held, befitting a king of Narapatisithu's stature. Ceremonial offerings were made, and the temples and pagodas were adorned in tribute to celebrate his life and achievements. During the funeral, reflections on Narapatisithu's law code, which established a foundation for governance, were shared widely, emphasizing his commitment to fair policies and justice for all. Narapatisithu's contributions to temple architecture inspired future generations of builders and architects throughout the region, leading to the proliferation of pagoda designs that resonate in modern Myanmar. As time passed, Narapatisithu's legacy manifested in annual commemorations, where citizens gathered to remember their king's vision and leadership, reinforcing communal bonds and cultural pride. Narapatisithu's ideals encouraged compassionate governance, echoing through the teachings of Buddhist monks who followed his principles, shaping ethical leadership across subsequent administrations in Burma. Folklore surrounding Narapatisithu began to flourish, with stories celebrating his courage, wisdom, and vision, embedding his ideals within the cultural consciousness of Burma, informing traditions and values. Educational institutions began to incorporate the lessons from Narapatisithu's life into their curricula, instilling values of leadership and community service in youth, shaping the future of the nation. Narapatisithu's emphasis on inclusiveness continued to resonate, leading to a more tolerant society that embraced diversity within its cultural and ethnic groups, strengthening national unity. The architectural prowess established during Narapatisithu's era influenced regional construction styles, and his pagodas became a model for sacred sites across Southeast Asia, leaving an imprint beyond borders. As a symbol of peace, Narapatisithu's legacy served as a reminder of the importance of unity over division, encouraging future rulers to prioritize diplomacy and compassion in governance. Narapatisithu's legacy continues to inspire modern Myanmar, where his life is celebrated not only for its historical significance, but as a catalyst for ongoing dialogues about leadership, ethics, and governance.